66 years old. That's how old I was when I decided love was a fairy tale, a story for younger hearts. I'd tucked away my own romantic dreams, convinced that my heart wouldn't beat with the wild, carefree spirit of youth ever again. Then Jake moved in next door. He was 20, a whirlwind of energy with bright eyes and dreams bigger than the sky. Just seeing him reminded me of all the things I'd forgotten I used to be. Adventurous, hopeful, full of life. He was a living, breathing reminder of the joy I thought I'd lost forever. Little did I know, our paths were about to collide in a way that would change both our lives. It was early spring, and the sun's warm rays were melting away the last traces of winter. I was in my garden, tending to my beloved roses, their sweet fragrance filling the air and stirring memories of the past. Spring always felt like a fresh start, and I savored every moment among the blooming flowers. Lost in thought, I was startled by a noise coming from the house next door. I looked up to see a young man unloading boxes from an old car. His movements were lively, full of youthful energy. "Need a hand?" I called out, drawn to engage with my new neighbor almost instinctively. His head turned, revealing bright blue eyes that twinkled with a playful gleam. "Just getting settled in," he said, his smile infectious, sending an unexpected flutter through my chest. "I'm Jake." "I'm Claw," I replied, a little breathless. Were all young men this vibrant? The question felt foolish, yet it clung to me, driving away the solitude I'd grown accustomed to. I introduced myself, feeling slightly flustered under his bright gaze. We exchanged waves, simple gestures that carried a hint of promise. As I went back to pruning my roses, I remained keenly aware of the fresh-faced boy next door. His presence lingered in my mind long after he'd disappeared, awakening a part of me I believed had faded forever. Days turned into weeks, and Jake became a familiar presence in my thoughts and routines. I often watched him skateboarding, tinkering with his bike, or simply soaking up the sunshine. His carefree spirit was captivating, and I found myself increasingly curious about him, wondering what fueled his dreams and desires. My curiosity grew, and I sought excuses to strike up conversations. One warm Sunday morning, I noticed him struggling with a bike tire. His frustration was clear as he wrestled with the stubborn rubber. An impulsive urge to help propelled me across the yard. "Need some help?" I offered, creating an opening before he could respond. "Would you?" he replied, a sheepish grin spreading across his face as he scratched his head. His boyish charm caught me off guard. Kneeling beside him, I felt an unexpected thrill at our closeness. His hands were clumsy but eager, and we spent the afternoon laughing and working together. It felt surprisingly normal, yet exhilarating, to be side by side with someone so much younger. I smiled more that day than I had in years. "Thanks, Claw," he said, handing me a cold drink afterward. His eyes sparkled. "You make it look easy." "It's just practice," I replied, though I felt an undeniable bond forming between us, a connection that was both unexpected and thrilling. I hadn't expected Jake to make me feel alive again. He was awakening parts of myself that had been buried under routine and resignation. As our encounters grew more frequent, the divide of age and experience blurred. Our conversations lengthened, filled with shared interests and laughter. Talking to him felt natural, as if we had known each other forever. One afternoon, we sat on my porch, the sun setting in a sky painted with orange and pink. It felt as if we were in our own little world. "Where did you grow up?" Jake asked, genuinely curious about the young man who had slipped so effortlessly into my life. He leaned back, watching the clouds drift. "A small town a few hours from here," I replied. "It was okay, but I always wanted to be somewhere vibrant, where art and culture mattered." "Art?" I asked, intrigued. "What kind?" "Mostly painting," he replied, his enthusiasm palpable. "It's like expressing emotions without words. It's like breathing to me." "I used to paint too," I confessed, surprised by my own admission. "Life just got in the way. I haven't touched a brush in years." "You should start again," he said, his face lighting up with excitement that made my heart skip. "I'd love to see your work." In that moment, I realized Jake saw something in me beyond a neighbor. He recognized potential that had lain dormant for too long. As weeks blurred into shared moments, our friendship deepened into something rich and unspoken. I caught glimpses of longing in his eyes, and the magnetic pull between us was undeniable. A simmering chemistry, innocent yet laced with desire. One sunlit afternoon, after a light-hearted chat about our favorite books, our hands brushed while reaching for the same one. The touch lingered just a moment too long, and suddenly the air around us was charged with anticipation. My breath quickened, and I found myself on the brink of something new, something thrilling yet frightening. "Jake," I began, but my words faltered as I leaned closer, drawn by a powerful, inexplicable urge. Our eyes met, and he leaned in, his lips brushing softly against mine in a hesitant kiss. It was filled with uncertainty, yet it ignited a fire inside me, unfolding like the petals of a blooming flower. His lips were warm and unexpectedly tender, sending shivers down my spine. I breathed in deeply, savoring the moment. I pulled back, breathless, stunned by my own daring and the overwhelming emotions swirling inside me. I was a 60-year-old woman kissing a 20-year-old man. How could something so seemingly wrong feel so undeniably right? Doubts crept in, but the thrill of that kiss pushed them aside, if only for a little while. As the days turned into an exhilarating whirlwind of feelings, I grappled with the weight of what had just occurred. The thrill of our kiss lingered like a soft echo in my mind, but so did the uncertainties. Could this be something real? Would society's judgment overshadow our connection? One evening, I invited Jake over for dinner. My heart raced with anticipation as I set the table. The thought of what might unfold next was intoxicating, filling my senses. The soft clinking of silverware and the glow of candlelight created an intimate atmosphere. When he arrived, his eyes lit up at the sight of the meal, and warmth surged through me. We ate and talked about art and our shared dreams, the chemistry between us growing stronger with each passing moment. Yet beneath the surface of our joy, uncertainty simmered. "Claire," he finally broke the brief silence, his voice shifting to a more serious tone. "About the kiss. Was it a mistake?" His question made my heart sink. "No, yes, I don't know," I stammered, struggling to find my footing. "It just caught me off guard." He leaned closer, confusion mixed with a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "Why can't it just be what it is? Sometimes a kiss is just a kiss." "But we're not just two random people, Jake. There's so much more at stake," I replied. "I want you," he interrupted, his voice strong and unwavering. Each word cut through my fears. "I don't care what others think." His words hung in the air, leaving me torn between desire and doubt. What if people find out? What if this turns into something more than a fleeting summer fling? I worried aloud. "Then let's make it count, no matter what it becomes," he urged, leaning in closer, his determination shining in his eyes. Despite my fears, I found myself increasingly drawn to him, captivated by his energy and zest for life. We began to explore our bond more deeply, allowing it to grow as we embraced whatever came next. Our kisses evolved into whispered confessions, our growing passion awakening something deep inside us both. One late afternoon, I suggested a spontaneous visit to a nearby art gallery. Jake's face lit up at the idea of visiting the art gallery. We spent hours admiring the artwork, sharing our thoughts and losing ourselves in each other's company. In a corner of the gallery, a vibrant painting caught my eye, a vivid landscape filled with colors that spoke to my soul. "Look at that," I nudged Jake, my heart racing with excitement. He leaned closer, studying the brushstrokes. "It's beautiful," he said, glancing sideways at me, "just like you." His words broke down my defenses, stirring a passion I struggled to keep at bay. We shared a silent moment, the sounds of the gallery fading into the background. "Can I kiss you again?" he asked softly, his voice trembling with sincerity. I nodded, breathless as he leaned in. Our lips met with a fervor that felt new, thrilling, yet gentle. The kiss consumed me, awakening a deep-seated longing I had kept buried for so long. In that instant, I understood that age didn't define our connection. Our feelings did. As our relationship deepened, the physical aspect of our bond intensified. One evening, after a long walk, we found ourselves back at my house, sharing a bottle of wine and talking about our lives. The conversation flowed naturally, but there was an underlying tension we couldn't ignore. As the night progressed, our touches became more frequent, more intentional. Jake reached out gently, taking my hand. His thumb traced my skin, sending shivers through me. We moved closer, the space between us vanishing, and our lips met in a kiss more passionate than ever before, filled with a desire we could no longer deny. This time, we didn't stop at kissing. His hands roamed, tracing the curves of my body with a tenderness that made me feel cherished and wanted. I responded in kind, my own hands exploring, feeling the warmth of his skin beneath his shirt. We lost ourselves in the moment, letting the outside world slip away as we surrendered to the connection we had been building. However, reality has a way of intruding just when you think you've found your stride. One evening, I attended a neighborhood gathering, a community event I usually found comforting despite its predictable nature. But that night, I found myself the subject of whispered disapproval, the rumors swirling around me like a storm as I moved through the crowd. I overheard snide comments about my relationship with Jake. The sting of embarrassment crept up my cheeks. "Did you hear Claire's with that young guy?" One woman sneered, sparking laughter that cut like knives. "How desperate can you get?" Another added, and my heart sank at their words. Jake noticed my distress and quickly made his way to join me on the balcony where I had retreated for a moment of peace. "It'll blow over," Jake said, concern written on his face as he took in the situation. "It's not just gossip, Jake. What if they're right?" I replied, my voice quivering with panic. "What if this is all just a fantasy?" He stepped closer, gently grasping my shoulders, grounding me with his touch. "It's not a fantasy if it's real to us. We can't let others' opinions decide our happiness," he said. "I've been alone for so long." "Maybe I'm just seeing this all wrong," I confessed, feeling exposed and vulnerable. "Then let's redefine what we are," he responded earnestly, his steady gaze anchoring me. "You mean more to me than gossip. Let's make it real." His conviction resonated within me, igniting my resolve. Perhaps love was worth fighting for, even in the face of judgment. As the days turned into weeks, our lives became more intertwined than we had ever imagined. Our kisses deepened, and we became partners, not just in our relationship, but in self-discovery. It felt like we were writing our own story, filled with chapters of desire, laughter, and freedom. One rainy Saturday, we stayed inside for a cozy afternoon of painting together. Our laughter filled the living room. The colors on the canvas were as vibrant and chaotic as our emotions, a beautiful mess, that mirrored our growing bond. "You're really talented, Claire," Jake said, genuinely admiring my work. "You've taught me to look at things differently, to see deeper." "Thank you, Jake," I replied, feeling warmth spread within me. "You've brought back parts of me I thought were gone." We moved closer, the tension between us almost tangible, and our lips met softly. The kiss evolved into something more intense. We explored each other's touch, savoring the closeness that had grown so precious to us. In that intimate moment, every kiss and caress felt like a promise, awakening desires I had long buried. "I don't want to hide anymore," I whispered against his lips, my heart pounding as I spoke. "Then don't," he answered, his eyes bright with determination. "Let's just be us, however that looks." As winter settled in and snowflakes danced outside, we built a life of love that blended my wisdom with his youthful zest. I felt alive, drawn to the joy and sweetness our relationship brought. We faced challenges openly, pushing against societal norms to create a new reality together. One quiet evening, as we enjoyed dinner at my home, I turned to Jake, a surge of bravery filling me. "Jake, I care about you deeply, but I need to know, what do you see for us in the future?" He paused, his expression thoughtful, as if weighing the gravity of the moment. "I see us exploring life together, learning about each other, and growing through whatever comes our way." "You inspire me," he said, his words laced with sincerity. "What do I inspire you to do?" I asked, my curiosity driving me to understand what I meant to him. "To be fearless," he said, his voice filled with raw emotion. "To take control of life and not fear the path ahead." Tears welled in my eyes at his words, and I reached for his hand across the table, feeling warmth spread through me, brightening the uncertainties that had clouded my heart. If I choose this, it has to be all-encompassing," I said quietly, the weight of my words hanging in the air. "It can be," he assured me, his smile lighting up the room. "I'm all in, Claire. I want to share my life with you." As the months passed, our shared dreams began to take shape, evolving into something real and lasting. We chased sunsets, painted murals, and danced beneath the stars, creating our own world filled with laughter and tender moments. One warm evening, we went to our favorite spot, a quiet hill overlooking the city. The view was stunning, the city lights twinkling like stars below, reflecting the hope and joy we had found in each other. Wrapped in his arms, I felt a deep sense of peace, one that had eluded me for so long. I never imagined I'd find something like this at my age. "Why not?" he asked, turning to face me, his eyes full of affection as he gazed at the horizon where the sky met the earth. "Love knows no age. See it as a gift, Claire. It's never too late to experience something beautiful." I laughed softly, comforted by his words and the warmth of his presence. In that moment, I understood that age was meaningless in the quest for happiness. It was just a number, a concept that could never limit the depth of our connection. As I leaned in to kiss him, the world around us faded away. His gentle lips grounded me in the here and now, where we were simply Claire and Jake, two hearts united in a beautiful dance of love. By opening my heart to a younger man, I found a world filled with happiness, laughter, and a profound emotional bond. When I looked at Jake, I didn't just see a younger reflection of myself. I saw a partner whose vibrant spirit and fresh outlook perfectly complemented my years of experience. Our relationship redefined the meaning of love and companionship, celebrating the beauty of human connection. With Jake, I discovered a love that went beyond traditional boundaries, showing me that passion knows no limits when hearts are courageous. Walking hand in hand into the future, I realized that love, in all its forms, is something to pursue, nurture, and cherish, no matter the years that lie between us. Life had surprised me once more, and I was eager to embrace the adventure ahead, not just for myself, but for us together. Each day taught me to value not only life's unpredictability, but also the thrilling freedom that love provides. While age had brought me wisdom and left its marks, it was Jake's youthful energy that lit up my world. Together, we imagined a future brimming with endless possibilities. Ultimately, we found comfort not in others' opinions or society's rules, but in the moments that set our hearts aflame and made our spirits soar. Love, I realized, is not confined by age. It is a timeless dance, an ever-evolving tapestry woven anew with each bold embrace, full of fresh experiences, joy, and laughter. As we continue to discover one another, Claire and Jake set out on a journey where dreams are limitless and where the heart rules over societal expectations. Their unique and beautiful love story stands as a testament to love's ageless nature, a shining reminder that life's most meaningful connections often flourish in the most unexpected places. Together, they created a canvas of love, color, and passion, a masterpiece of life not restricted by time, but inspired by the courage to welcome change.